One of the strengths of the new monster manual is that it does offer plenty of variety in terms of monsters. However, as Pedro Pascal once said,
but it can be better.
So today we're going to take a look at how you could combine two monster stat blocks into one creature into an entirely new one. To keep the concept simple, we're going to look at two CR quarter creatures. Now, I would combine them into something new, something you could throw at a low-level party and potentially create an interesting plot hook. For this, we'll be combining the Goblin Warrior and the Skeleton to create a Goblin Skeleton, or potentially a more interesting name. First things first, the size category will remain small, as this is still a goblin we're talking about here. However, their creature type will change from Fey to Undead, as they are now Skeleton. At this point, for primary stats with ability scores, you can use what makes the most sense to you. Perhaps these are goblins that are in the middle of transforming, therefore they lean to their goblin stats. On the other hand, they're more skeleton or have completed the transformation, thus using more of their skeleton traits. Doing this alone can create for small variations within the stat blocks and more enticing plot hook, as it's clear something is going on. Be it a curse that's inflicting the goblins, something they're willingly doing, or maybe the goblin hexer is doing this to fulfill the desires of their master. That's the beauty of combining monsters like this. It can take something that you would expect and suddenly something interesting comes out of it. A story that you'd use to great effect. Anyway, back to doing a fusion dance between these two creatures. For our purposes, we're going to lean more to the skeleton than a goblin. As such, we're going to use those ability scores AC and HP. If you go more goblin, you can do the same for them. From there, things become a lot easier, as we're going to be adopting the traits of a skeleton in full, whether they are fully transformed or not. They are effectively undead, which again you can use as your story element, because the skeleton is slightly stronger than the Goblin Warrior, so it could be that whoever did this promised goblins power to do even more chaos. At that point, this new monster will keep the nimble action, because nothing is more terrifying than an undead goblin running away from you that you can't hit or see. Then for attacks, again you could choose which one you want, scimitar or short sword, as they do the same type of damage and damage output. We'll be keeping the 1d4 that the goblin skeleton has advantage, because again we are keeping the narrative that the goblins who took this deal want to have more power. And what's the point of that if you lose one of your things? Not to mention, we want to highlight that these are still goblin skeletons. And there you have it, two stat blocks that you can use as a result of fusing two monsters together. Now you can have a combination of undead goblins and alive goblins in your story. As to how and why they are this way, that's entirely up to you. But in terms of making unique monsters that can lead to a story and potentially hook your players rather easily, this is the method that could do it. It should be noted that the higher you go up in CR, the more tricky this does become. But for low level stuff, you can smash them together and see what sticks. And before comment says it, yes, I do know that Pathfinder has a template to make a monster a skeleton, and it's just as fun there as it is here. And that'll do it for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.